I don't always do this, but because I'm going to put some solder chips here, I have just drawn an outline with pencil there, because I don't want the solder really to go much outside of those lines, because then it's too much cleaning up. So I just put a simple pencil line around the piece. Okay, so you don't have to put solder on this, because the two pieces will fuse together just by heating them up. I don't know if it's especially true if it's fine silver rather than sterling, but when you just heat these up together, they should fuse, right? And you know, I've done that, and that's okay. And I don't know, sometimes I just get a little bit worried though, you know, that it's going to be okay. You know, I just have this thing with, if I'm gonna be selling something to somebody, you know, I want it to be as good as it can be, and I don't want it to have a gap, and it's trust. I have a trust issue, right? So I'm gonna put some solder there. So don't tell anybody, because I'm just gonna put a little bit. And these are these flat solder chips. I'm gonna put one there, and that way I know not to go outside the line very much. You know, it's just a guide where I can put it. And so I'm only going to put a few there, right? Right. And then like that. Then I'm going to put that back over there like that. And then I'm going to put some easy pieces that I cut in here around the inside, just like I would if it were, you know, if I were soldering the bezel collar on. So okay, it's probably too much. I'm going to use the larger head, which is the number one. And this helps it have an even, all over flame that will cover everything and heat it all up at the same time. The tip of the blue flame, you'll get a tip here, and then the flame will extend out more. But this tip of the blue flame is generally the coolest part. So if you have this, say the tip's here, and you keep this tip about the height of the bezel, because it's cooler there, it's not going to melt the bezel. The heat's going to go a little bit beyond the bezel. You still have to be careful. I mean, I say it's not going to heat the bezel collar. It, you know, it can. But the rule of thumb is that tip, that blue tip, is cooler. So if you keep an eye on where that tip is, then you can generally get away with a lot more. You know, whatever you're doing, a lot more. And you're going to heat all of it together, because when all the pieces are the same temperature, that's when the solder will flow onto each other. Right, so, right, see that blue flame there? I don't know, can you? It looks more white up on the thing. That's the cooler part. So if that's there, you're not going to, you know, it's going to be. I like to hold it underhand like that, and I'll just heat it up. I don't know if it's the flux I use. I use the Wolverine, and I do mix it with water. But when I use the handy flux, I'm going to put it on here to get the heat to circulate more. When I use the handy flux, my pieces of solder would just jump all over the place. And even though I mix the Wolverine with water, it just doesn't. It's really neat, because that used to be the most annoying thing about. Alright, so it's beginning to go. So I like to lift it up a little bit. Right, so make sure that's down. Push it down with my pick. You don't want to push it down too hard, because then you can dig into it. Lift it up again. But you see how quickly it happened with the larger head? It's because all of it's been... There's a little bit there that's not. Alright, so that's soldered there. And I just want to make absolutely sure that everything is down. And now I'm going to cut all around there the same contour.